Now, I want to go back to today's news for a second. Maybe you've been listening to news more than I have. Maybe you have the answer. As you know, today Trump finally
said something.
Said some things about. He denounced the KKK and all other groups that promote violence and discrimination, all that. Now, and I also mentioned that the police were not ready for confrontation like it was.
Yeah, it really wasn't coordinated because they had everybody all together. In fact, on CNN, before I came over here, they had asked the former police chief of Washington, D.C. and Philly, okay, the same gentleman, and he said he was very surprised. He was very surprised to see the groups mingling, that the police didn't try to separate them at the beginning, and that's why there was such chaos.
Elisa, why don't you mute your phone?
No, don't say anything. She got off.
Yeah, she realized she was too noisy. I know. Neither did I. What is that?
But no, he was. All right, I know what you're leading up to in your question.
No, I was going to ask you.
What?
Now the KKK, that was a planned protest.
Well, it was a demonstration, an open demonstration by the KKK, who also invited the white supremacists, because a lot of them are basically the same. You know, KKK is white supremacy.
Yeah.
White supremacy is neo-Nazi. Okay, so they were basically all the same.
Yeah, but my point is they had gotten a permit to gather that day and have a protest.
To march on Friday and have a gathering on Saturday.
The people who protested, they have a permit?
I don't know. And if they didn't, well, that would be a mistake on their part.
And I would venture to say they probably didn't. Because if they did, the police may have been more organized.
They tended to be more college-age students, okay? And if it was an organization on campus, I'm sure that they had legal advice. Somebody said that they should get a permit.
I don't think it was that organized.
I don't know.
But what I did notice is the white supremacists came prepared. They had shields, looked like.
Yeah, they had whips.
Shields, and the other side, they were wearing bike helmets and different things to protect themselves. So I think both sides.
Well, I think the KKK might have come with shields. The white supremacists most likely wore the helmets.
I don't know. I didn't see any helmets, I'll be honest with you.
You just said helmets.
No. I said the college kids were wearing helmets.
Oh, that I don't know.
They were wearing helmets like bikers or bicycle helmets, stuff like that.
They might have expected that they were going to get hit over the head.
Or they might have expected they're going to start trouble. You don't know who they are. We don't know who they are. It was not a peaceful demonstration on either side.
Have you ever seen a group of rednecks down south? I've seen, Ellen and I saw, we made a wrong turn one time when we were down in North Carolina to visit my in-laws. And we found ourselves in the middle of a flea market. But it was a redneck flea market, okay? And the people that we saw and the things that we heard, okay, we didn't spend too much time there. we were walking through one of the exhibits, and the guy had all kinds of KKK memorabilia. Okay, then there was another booth with swastikas. Ellen quickly put her Jewish star into her shirt, and we noticed a couple who were also looking. The guy was black, the woman was white, and I can't say it on the air because it's a little different from what I blurted out at the beginning of the show, Felix. But the woman who looked at them said, "Did you see that N with that white woman?" So Ellen is never one to keep her mouth shut. She said, "Well, we come from New York, and that's nothing up north." And we got the hell out of there.
Yeah.
But I mean, this, and if you've seen 60 Minutes or one of the magazine shows, they're always, when they interview the people, at these white supremacist things or the KKK rallies, the women are sometimes even worse than the men. And this is how they're bringing up their children.
Well, first thing in the KKK, how do you know what the hell they are? They all got those...
No. This was specifically open to this one reporter who was reporting on this gathering. He actually had permission to come in and talk to them. And nobody was wearing a hood or anything, But to listen to some of these women speak, it's almost a sin that these people are breeding and raising children, and there's no difference between how they're raising their children and how the children in Afghanistan are being raised to hate Americans. ISIS is teaching the children, and in North Korea, I forgot what show I watched just yesterday, and they were interviewing a girl from North Korea, and she was taught, well, if there are two Americans and two Americans, something about beating them up, how many Americans did you beat up? And the answer is 4. Now, my next door neighbor is Israeli, and he said, talking about the Palestinians, the Palestinian problem and issue, he said that these kids are taught, if there are 5 Jews and you kill 2, how many Jews are left? But this is how they learn their math. So they're learning hate from a very early age.
I said, what was positive about this whole thing, this was supposed to be a gathering of the KKK, Nazis, all the hate groups, and they were only able to get 500 protests from all over the country.
Maybe that's with all that was able to come to Virginia. People, believe it or not, they do work and they do have families.
I know.
And it's not easy to pack everybody up.
At the same time, there were just as many protesters, and they were just local. Most likely, the college kids.
Hey, listen.
What I'm saying is, thank God there aren't as many of them.
Well, let's say, thank goodness there weren't as many.
No, that there aren't as many.
But it doesn't. Let me tell you something. 500 neo-Nazis, KKK, and white supremacists
from a 320 million population
can wreak a lot of havoc on a small college town. That's what it is.
It did. But I'm saying the only positive thing is that's all they were able to get. They invited everybody they can get. Which may be a sign that there are less of them than there used to be.
I remember, back in the 70s, you may remember this. I was talking to my friends today at lunch. Back in the mid 70s to early 80s. I think it was the early 80s. The KKK, no, the neo-Nazis were going to march in Skokie, Illinois. Why Skokie? Because
it was a white
they did a
neighborhood.
survey, and Skokie had the most Holocaust survivors living there in the United States. Now, they made a movie about that. Danny Kaye, I remember, played he was the leading man, and he was like a Holocaust survivor.
Yeah.
You know, Ellen's brother was going to go and protest. He was living in Chicago at the time, and he was going to go to Skokie and protest, but the march was called off. Very smart, but like I said to you earlier, I don't like these people, and I don't have any affinity for them. But if you're going to follow the Constitution, they do have a right to organize.
Absolutely.
As we were saying, they do have a right to protest and march peaceably.
Exactly.
Okay, but when it
they're
turns
not allowed to harm anybody else.
right, you know, I mean, they do have, and the funny thing was that the ACLU in Skokie, Illinois,
will fight for their rights.
Were fighting for their rights, and the lawyers were all Jewish.
Yeah.
They were all Jewish.
No, listen, you know, we have a constitution in the United States.
Yeah, what's good for one is good for the other, basically. You
and,
know, I think
I
think what they maybe should have done, I understand the people who wanted to protest against what was going on, but I think what they should have done is let them march and protest Friday and Saturday.
And you know what? If
And
nothing
you-
happened, there wouldn't have been broadcasted all over the
No, well,
world.
you didn't let me finish. What I was going to say was, if you want to protest, you protest the following week. Get a permit, get the people together. By then, hopefully, all of these hate groups would have gone back to wherever they were. Okay, and you
Some
can
of them
have.
being from New York.
Excuse me.
Some of them were from New York.
Well, how far is Virginia from New York? A
I'm just saying,
5-hour
but
drive?
Would you think there are a lot of haters in New York?
Of course there are.
Okay.
I never said no.
I don't know. 'Cause New York
You
is
know,
a pretty liberal state.
when you say New York,
It could be upstate New York, could be anywhere.
upstate New York, there are a lot of people who think the way they do.
I hope not a lot. I hope a few.
Well, you know something, a lot of hurt can be done by just a few people.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just hope it's a few, not a lot.
But folks, we're getting down to
The nitty gritty.
the bewitching hour. We played enough music.
Oh, we're gonna play one more song today.
Oh, we're going to play a patriotic song?
Oh yeah.
Try to. Hey, all we are saying, as John Lennon said, is give peace a chance.
All we are saying is give peace.
Rodney King said it after he was beaten by the LAPD. He said, "Why can't we all get along?" And you know something? Why can't we all get along? We all inhabit this very small planet, and we're all entitled to our opinions. Remember what Ellen used to say about opinions, Felix? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. You know.
All right.
And that's pretty mild considering what I said earlier.
Yeah, it is. All right,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen. Now, Natalie Page Bentley from the United States. Amoerotic. Ooh, that sounds good. Name of the song is Lost
She is a
Girls.
lost girl.
Lost Girls.